Miami Dolphin fans, let me ask you something. Do you love the Dolphins? Do you think they are the greatest football team? How about the greatest show on surf? If you answered yes to any or all of these questions, then fins up and surfs up to the greatest show on surf.shop today. Celebrate the most explosive offense in the NFL with this awesome exclusive merch. From jackets, hats, shirts, and more, they have it all. Use promo code FINSTALK and save 15% on your order. Show off your fandom. Don't wait. Go to thegreatestshowonsurf.shop today.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And
all right, as always, Dolphins
#1,
baby!
So fins up to all you guys. Thank you for
I just want everybody to remember, we may not always agree on everything Miami Dolphins, but there's one thing we do agree on, is we are all Dolphin fans. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk Fins Talk. Joining me tonight, as always, is Dolphin Thirsty, and we have a special guest tonight, the one and only Miss Phins. How you doing, Miss Phins?
Thank you guys for having me. I'm doing well, and yourselves?
Doing great. Great.
Can't complain.
All right, sounds good. Now, before we get started, I just want to let you all know I'm wearing the greatest show on surf shirt. So make sure you all go ahead and check that link, our website out, and get you one. They're really nice, comfortable shirts. I got the black ones. So, all right. So, Miss Phins, I'm really happy that you were able to join us tonight. I appreciate you. I think Real Talk, Fins Talk, and your show, Miss Phins, we both started about the same time, I believe, right? About 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago now.
Well, I know I did. February 8th is when I started. So
February
that was
8th.
2 years ago. Yep. I don't know about Real Talk. I think it came just afterwards. I know Bobby had recently left where he was, started his own channel, Finstock Sports Network, and then after that it definitely grew. So that I do know.
Yeah, absolutely. Rob and I actually started September. I think it was either late August or early September. And that was it would be 2
year and a half,
ago, right?
Bobby was around before that, though. So
he was around before that. But anyway, we are. We're still thriving. We're still, putting out content about the Miami Dolphins, and it's just. I know I've been enjoying this. It's been a great time. I just hope I just wish that our Miami Dolphins would have done a little better. But anyway, we'll get around to talking about that. Go ahead, Miss Phins. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, you always want to do better. You know what I mean? So that's all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I wanted to talk a little bit about, in the last week or two, we've had some stuff, I wouldn't say breaking news. Other than today, we did have some news about, of course, our wide receiver, Tyreek Hill, again, in the news. This time he's charged with an assault, allegedly assault of breaking a young lady's leg. So that's not a good thing to hear in the off season. It seems like ever since he's come to us, something has happened, the 2 years he's been with us in the off season. So I'm hoping this kid can, this young man gets his life straight and, just stay out of trouble, Tyreek. We don't need any of that shade on the Miami Dolphins. Rob, what did you hear? Did you hear the same thing? Or
more or less. It's all alleged. It happened over a year ago, and it's just now coming out. So it's probably more or less the same time that that Hollover story made the news. This one kind of, it's just the whole thing's weird. right now there's just he said, she said, so we don't know. Anyone can sue anyone, and but he does find a way to always have he just be good, man. You got family. Stay home with your family. Don't invite strangers into your house. Don't set yourself up for this kind of stuff. Just make smarter decisions. It could have just been, whatever. They could have just been playing and she got hurt and she's just seeing a payday. But this is all alleged. But he just seems to find trouble. Just stay away. Stay away from it. Just stay home. You got a family, man. Just enjoy them and stay out of, inviting strangers into your home.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Miss Phins, do you hear anything? Can you add to this, or have you heard anything different?
Yeah, I heard of it. I mean, it's just that to me, it's kind of interesting how things just always seem to find this, young man, like you said. And at this point, it looks like and during the drills, she went ahead and, hit him, knock him backwards. So he reciprocated. It is football. And I guess, unfortunately, she was injured during that, that hit by him. I mean, at the end of the day, and not to be funny, but whenever I have hosted, I do have non-disclosure agreements and sometimes liability waiver forms. You just never know. People always, especially in Florida.
Yeah, that's good.
Over 90,000 lawyers in the state, so believe me. But sometimes you have to take care of stuff. It might seem trivial, but now you see why.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And you'd think he'd have better, I guess, folks. That what do they call them?
I'm sure Drew Rosenhaus keeps
not a life coach, but you know what I'm talking about. You think those people would give him
mentors
or whatever would tell him, hey man, you got to keep a low profile, you're representing the NFL, and this is where I'm concerned with. I know he got away with it last year, right? Maybe this year he might get that suspension. This is the second incident that's happened, so you never know.
It's off season and it's at his own home,
right?
You can't really fault him for that. And this is the thing, a lot of people don't know this, that players, there's over 1,000 lawsuits going on right now in the NFL. We don't hear about them because they get settled out. It just
right.
At the end of the day, everybody's always going to be in some legal situation in every sports league. It's just you don't hear about them because nobody. Not to be mean, but nobody cares. Nobody really cares. It's like they know their targets, and that's why the NFL has representation for them too.
Yeah, and absolutely. It's just weird that it was last year and it's just now coming to light. So who knows, man? It's just, like you say, let it all play out. Ends up maybe having to save money again. Who knows? Just to make it go away. And that's it. Like Miss Phins says, people see some money, a guy with money, they're like, oh, this is an easy payday. Even if he can't prove he did it on purpose, he can prove, oh, I did get hurt at his place, and there you go. So some lawyer can probably wringle a couple dollars out of it. But anyway, right now it's all alleged.
Absolutely, it's all alleged, and that all I'm doing is bringing up the news that it was, and it's just not a good look. That's my whole point of bringing it up. But anyway, we'll move on. First off, I want to thank everybody that's in the chat right now. Appreciate you. I see Josh is in there. We got Flava J's in there. Adam is in there. Bobby Finstock is in there. Welcome all of you in here tonight. And make sure you hit that like button. It's free. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, share with your friends, your families, and your neighbors. And remember, guys and ladies, what we may all agree. We may not always agree on everything Miami Dolphins, right? When we're talking and discussing, but there's one thing we can all agree on is that we are all Dolphins. All right. Yep, so I just like to always, always want to bring that disclaimer out because whatever critiques we talk about here on this channel, it's for the best of the team. We want our team, as you said, Rob. We want our team to win. We want them to win a Super Bowl. Those are my expectations. All right.
The only one we should ever have.
The only one we should ever have. Bottom line. Yes, absolutely. I also wanted to get into a little bit of Drew Rosenhaus. I know he was speaking. I don't remember where it was. but I heard a clip of him speaking about the Dolphins in free agency and things like that. And then they were talking a little bit about Christian Wilkins, and he felt, and he doesn't even represent Christian Wilkins. And he represents Tua. No, he doesn't even represent Tua Tagovailoa.
No,
but anyway,
none of them.
None of those two. But they were discussing this with him, so he has no, interest in him at all, right?
No horse in the race.
He only represents half our team,
right?
But yes, you're right.
Yeah, half our team. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And I know he's been down in Florida. He's been in Florida for over 30 years that I'm aware of. Maybe longer. I don't know. So he has a lot of impact on the sports teams down there, right? So here's the thing. He said that he felt, in his opinion, that Christian Wilkins is a stud and he should be the one getting the long-term contract extension right now, and not Tua, because Tua is under contract. And he makes a good point. And that's what I keep trying to point out to folks out here on X, on any of these, spaces that we're into or whatever. Everybody, you got folks that are saying, oh, we got to pay him. We have to pay him this extension and all this kind of stuff. No, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have to pay him an extension because he is under contract. The Miami Dolphins have the leverage, right? And what has he done to earn a $45, $50 million contract? That's my point. And he doesn't have to get an extension. We can keep him on that 5th-year option. That's what I'd like to do. I'm not the one paying the money, so whatever happens. I just hope that it's a team friendly deal, and what really counts to me, in my opinion, is the guaranteed monies. Rob, how do you feel about that?
Well, you know how I feel. I root for anyone on my team. He happens to be the quarterback of my team right now, so I want the best for him. But like you, he hasn't earned Patrick Mahomes' money yet. He hasn't earned Joe Burrow, because Joe Burrow, yes, he was injured, but he has gotten his team to a Super Bowl, So to me, he's a good young quarterback, but is he great? Do you want to lock up long term? So to me, it'd be how, like you say, kind of how you work the contract. Can you get out of it after a couple years if it goes bad, or are you going to have dead money for the next 5 years that you got to eat and just ride with them, So the way they word it, be able to get out maybe after 3 years if it doesn't go well, something like that. And,
3 years.
Yeah, I know, but because what are you going to do, Steve? Because it's like, I don't know, they're in a bad spot. I think
they gave Daniel Jones a 2-year out.
Yeah, I know. So that's what I'm saying. So you can't. And if you're trying to lower his money for this year, it's going to be hard to give him a short-term out, because you're going to have to.
Yes, but if you pay him his money this year, right? You pay the big extension that he's. I'm pretty sure his agents want, and I don't know how he feels, but I'm sure he wants his money too. But the problem is, you'll save a little cap space this year, but guess what? Next year you're gonna be in cap hell. Even worse than this year. Why?
I know.
Because then you're not gonna have any of the players. You're gonna have to give up a lot of big time players on the team.
I'm just here so I don't get fined, to be honest with you guys. Listen, you started talking about Tua, and I'm like, man, I'm getting canceled. I knew it. We're talking about Tua. It's in. It's over. My Lord, I'm about to get a resume now. Like, I mean, listen, I get it. They asked him, Drew Rosenhaus, out of the two, which is most important. And to your point, Steve, it makes sense, his reaction of saying Wilkins, because Wilkins is a unrestricted free agent. We have zero claims to him. The only thing that we have right now that we're able to do is to either tag him, whether that is a transitional or a franchise tag, or just give him the contract he wants. Apparently, from what I hear, we've already offered 2 contracts for him. He chose not to. We offered one in last offseason. He said he'll play in his 5th-year option. Did earn the right, according to Greer, the right to be a free agent. And from the sound of it, we just offered him another one, and it looks like he still is adamant about the money he wants. So I understand why Christian Wilkins would want to get his money. He is worth that money. Nobody's taking that away, but he is such a great talent
but
that you're not
Miss Phins,
to let him
Miss
walk
Phins,
to get nothing. That's the problem, in my opinion. Like to let him
Miss
walk with
Phins,
nothing.
is he really worth that money? You really think he's worth that money?
That's what the market dictates.
Okay.
At the end of the day, that's what the market
The
dictates.
market,
And
the market
dictates it all.
The
I
market
agree.
dictates. The market dictates. If you were to, now I think this was from last year, if I'm not mistaken. But last year the market dictated for his position $20 million. Okay,
Yeah.
he's asking more than that. You're probably, the way it sounds to me, it sounds like he's wanting 24, 25 million. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe
that was
more.
last year. This year, remember, they got a race with the cap being the way that it was set.
Exactly,
So
and that's another
it's
thing I
more-
try to tell people. You know, the cap goes up, and everybody says, "Oh, wow, look, we got all this money now." No, the players' salaries go up too.
They get
But anyway.
that's their merit race, if you will. You know,
Exactly.
as regular
Exactly.
corporate
That's
people
what it
get
is.
2 to
That's what it
5% on average. It's just a merit race. This one it went up, but if you really take a look at it, the fact that it went down in 2020, it's just averaging out. It's just evening out from 2021 and 2022 not being as high as they should have been. So at the end of the day, he's still worth what the market dictates, $24 million. But it ultimately goes to what team is going to be willing to pay that. Because if nobody's willing to pay, I mean, key example, last year, Dalvin Cook was an $8 million running back. Nobody paid that.
Nobody.
You know what I mean? The Jets, I think, got him $8 million for 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, something like that, or $8 million for 1 year versus the $8 million he wanted each year. So at the end of the day, so the team is willing to pay and what the player is willing to do, or you're going to be in the couch. When it comes to Wilkins, Greer offered his Greer deals, and he didn't accept it. And now, we'll see. It's just a failure in my part. If you're going to give him the 5th-year option and not work with him, then it's an absolute failure to have such a talent and not get anything out of it. At least trade him, tag and trade, or something. Get something out of him, because he's at least worth 1 first-round pick, if not a first and a second, or first and a third. So this is where I'm at when it comes to Wilkins.
Yeah, let me give you these stats right now and tell me what you think of these, okay? I'm going to give you two stats. I'm going to give you the first one, and I'm going to ask you what you think it is. All right. If I can find it now.
Sorry, I took a
nap.
We go.
Here we go. All right.
I got a message you, Steve. I don't get to talk to you all the time, so.
I know. Listen to this. 10 sacks, 63 combined tackles, 32 solo tackles, 31 assisted tackles, 22 quarterback hits. Okay? You hear that? All right. Now, those are pretty good stats, would you say?
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay. Let me read you some more. Another one. All right. Here we go. 9 sacks, 65 combined tackles, 38 solo, 27 assisted, 23 quarterback hits. Kind of the same, right?
I know.
Similar, but I already know Christian Wilkins is the second dude with 9 sacks.
And
then Zach Sealer is the first one.
And they just signed him a 3-year contract for how much?
I believe his contract was $21 million for 3 years, something like that. It was
very, very good deal.
Very
so you mean to tell me we're going to pay Christian Wilkins? And I can go back all 3-4 years with Zach Sealer and Christian Wilkins. There was one time where Zach Sealer had more tackles than Christian Wilkins. So
that was 2 years ago.
Yeah. So
not this year or the year prior to
right. That. And I get it. People are saying, well, it's good to have both of them on the team. Yeah, it's good to have both of them on the team, but you're going to have one guy that is similar in his performance, getting 21, as we said, I'm not sure how much, but let's say 21 million for 3
Yeah,
years. And now you want to pay a guy 25 million or 24 million a year for a 3 or 4 year deal? So I think as you said, Miss Phins, I think it was you that said this. I think Christian Wilkins is good as gone.
Yeah, so I've had this conversation on my channel, and you can find Miss Phins Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
But I've already had this conversation. I mean, you cannot pay a guy that you're already paying. We're back to Byron Jones and Xavien Howard. We paid Byron Jones the money, made him number one, even though X felt like he was the number one. Then we had to overpay for X instead of trading him. And then we overpaid again after we give him a contract extension, then we give him another contract extension. And now we just had to cut him because we just couldn't do it anymore. He has no legs. No growings, if we're gonna be honest. But with Sealer and with Wilkins, both of them are very comparable. It's the same scenario between those two as Byron Jones and X. The difference is that although these two players play against each other, there is money wise a huge discrepancy. You could argue between Byron Jones and X getting similar money, but when it comes to Sealer and Wilkins, it's just, I get the market dictates what Wilkins is worth, but at the end of the day, I can't pay a guy like that. And when I got somebody already giving me the same productivity and consistently every single year. The other issue that you have with Christian Wilkins is that, they play off each other, but that's not to say that if we get someone else, that Sealer can continue his productivity. And I do believe he will. And I just had to check because I wanted to double check, make sure we didn't give the wrong information. But he did sign a 3-year extension with the Dolphins. It's worth $30.75 million, $20 million fully guaranteed.
There you go.
And with that, essentially, it's going to be 2 years. The first 2 years they're guaranteed. The third one, they can move on from him. So I always count the guarantee money. That's why I was like 21 million.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
That's really what it is. Ends up being for his contract. So.
Thank you.
I'm with you.
For that.
I agree.
So I agree. I as much as I like Christian Wilkins and he's the jolly guy. He's the guy that's over there high-fiving everybody and stuff after they score. I get it, but he's not worth the 24, 25 million, at least in my mind, to even if he had the money. Not on this team. Not on this team. Yeah, let's put it like that. Not on this team at the present moment. Let's put it that way. But anyway, so also with that in mind, if we do lose Christian Wilkins, which I think he will be gone this year, now we got to pay AVG. We got to pay AVG.
Oh, I'm willing to pay.
I'm willing to pay AVG. He's not going to demand as much as Christian Wilkins. And I like AVG, to be honest. He's got a motor, man.
That is a Drew Rosenhaus client right there. So
he is. He is. Well, the thing is, Rob, is he going to go to Philly with Fangio, or does he like Miami that much and stay here in Miami?
He does.
There's a good chance he goes where the money's the best, man. If he gets a great offer somewhere, I mean, money talks. These guys can't play forever.
And you just hit it. Not for long, NFL. We saw it from Hard Knocks. AVG and his family talk about wanting to be here, wanting to be in Florida. We have a lot of great things that we can offer, obviously. At the end of the day, it has to equate to the amount that we offer. So whatever we do end up offering him, if he were to get a little bit more, but in that state, they have state taxes where it kind of evens out the money. How is the play? Remember, he has young kids. So how is the schooling? How is the family life? All that is taken into consideration. It might be a better move for him to stay versus going to another team. But if it's astronomically more money, so let's say Philly, which is where he's projected to go if he did win anywhere, then I could totally see it. Listen, we're going to have to eat it for these, 1 or 2 years. But with these 1 or 2 years, family, we'll be able to be set for the rest of our lives and not really have to work, once we make the smart moves and the good investments. But yeah, at the end of the day, whatever is good for him, to me, the players have to do what's best for them and their families.
Yeah,
As a football fan, though,
we
I
forget
want
they're
him here,
human.
man. I want him
we do.
here.
No, I do too. I do too.
Connor Williams is a perfect example because he wanted more money. He held out of OTAs last year, wanted more money, and now look, he went and got hurt, and now his market isn't as strong as it would have been if he's coming off a great healthy season. So it's tough on these guys.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
is. That's why they're taking a risk. That's why they're taking a risk. And let's be honest. This is why I don't always fault the players for wanting more money. I hear fans all the time say, "Oh my God, he's so greedy. He wants more money." I'm like, you do realize that the contracts that they're signing, most of it is just fluff money, right? Because no player ever really plays the full length of their contract. So realistically speaking, you can sign $1 billion contract and have a $10 million fully guaranteed, and your contract is $10 million. So
right.
At the end of the day, that's why Tyreek came. Tyreek came because we gave him the most amount of money when it came to guarantees versus Kansas City. Kansas City offered him 58. We went 70. Jets went 75, I think, or 73. We went 72 and called it a day. You know what I mean? Yeah. You have to also see as a player side, because I have a brother. He plays in college right now, and this is gonna be his future. So he's gonna have to. I mean, not for me, but for him and for his family, he's gonna have to go ahead and make sure he does the right moves for him and his family. And at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, only the guaranteed money is what they make. That's it.
Absolutely.
That's what they make.
Absolutely.
Unless they play
you're
their
right.
full contract, which most of the time they don't.
Right. So. And I agree. I'm not going to argue with the player wanting his money. If I was playing in the NFL, I'd want my bag too, because it is a short-lived career, you know? So I agree with you on that, Miss Phins. Also, we will be losing Raekwon Davis. He's a free agent this year. I'm just highlighting some of the players that contributed.
Yeah, I know
a lot on the defense.
Some of the big guys that we have.
Yeah, Deshaun Elliott. He's a free agent this year. Now, Deshaun Elliott played solid this year for us. That's another guy we're going to have to replace if he decides to go, elsewhere.
They may be able to get him, but
I would love to get.
Well, a lot of people don't know this. We only have one safety signed who needs to get an extension, and that's
we have
Holland.
26.
We don't have any other safety
players on the roster that are unsigned.
Yeah, well, we have more than that because we have future contracts already set. So we have about 46, but they're bodies. We need 90 at the end of the day for the offseason for training camp.
Yeah, absolutely.
And at this point, Deshaun Elliott is vital in my opinion, because having one safety, you can't. He's a strong safety. You need a strong safety. We don't have anybody else. Even Elijah Campbell, he's a free agent, restricted free agent, but he's still a free agent. Restricted.
Brandon Jones as
Brandon Jones is also a free agent. So we have only one safety.
Nick Needham. I don't think Nick Needham would be.
Well, he's a nickelback. He's more of a corner nickel, but he can play safety. In my opinion, he really could play safety, but he's also a free agent.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. We're just naming free
agents. Are we gonna bring him back? That's where the Dolphins are right now, and they just
also his mom's cool on our shows.
I love Nick Needham. She's awesome. Mrs. Needham, she's awesome. And I've had her on my show a couple of times. She's great.
So Miss Phins, that's a total of 10 free agents. That's just on the defense, and you've got. So let me repeat that again. We got Christian Wilkins, AVG, Raekwon Davis. We forgot about Eli Apple. He can go. Of course, X is going.
No, we didn't forget on purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Justin Bethel, we can forget him. Although he was a contributor on special teams. Deshaun Elliott, Elijah Campbell, you mentioned, Brandon Jones, and Nick Needham. So that's 10 on defense. And now we're in another predicament because our 2 edge rushers, we don't know how they're going to perform when they come back after their injuries, after they recover.
And they're set to come back mid-season anyways.
Yeah, that's why Van Ginkel.
So you could probably say they're not even here next year. I mean, they will, but not really. So we have no edge rushers.
We really don't know. We really don't know how they're going to, perform, even if they did come back at mid-time.
It's a shame because it was like one of our strengths heading into the. We go, man, we got Phillips, we got Chubb, we got Van Ginkel in a reverse, reserve role if we need him to come out, on the edge. And then all 3 of them, we're signing guys off the street to play football in a playoff game. It just shows you how brutal it can be and how quick it can go. And, so hopefully Van Ginkel, because like you say, Phillips was there at least walking around. I walked at the Dolphins Cancer Challenge.
Please mention that. Please mention that. I'm sorry I didn't mention that. I wanted to mention that. You were involved this weekend, right? This past weekend?
Bobby and I walked the whole way together. Some people ran, some people biked. Me and him walked. We took up the rear of the group, but we walked. It was a lot of fun. We were on, a guy that's known on Twitter very well, Ian, known as Big E. We were on him and 305 sports teams. They were co-captains of the team. So we all worked together to raise money. It was a really good time. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It's all the money goes for the cause. So it's really good. And it was fun, man, getting to meet Bobby again. Well, not again, because I met him back on the Fan Appreciation Weekend, but then actually get to walk with him and really spend time when there's not 1,000 people yelling in your ears in all the directions. So it was a really nice weekend, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I wanted to personally thank you for that, Rob. I appreciate that. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of folks that have family members, friends that have had cancer and have passed or have been survivors. There's been a lot of survivors as well, so let's not forget them. Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate that, man. And Bobby as well for doing that. That was really something special, and I appreciate it. And I'm glad you had a good time down there. And I know you got to meet a lot of the players, although you have claimed to me that you can only.
I only got my phone with Alec. Yeah. My phone decided to die. I knew I was in trouble that day, man. I was like, I had a flat tire, had to put air into the tire to get there. Then I go and I realized, man, I had charged my phone, but I guess I didn't plug it in all the way. So I started the day at 45%. And the next thing you know, it's dead. I got a picture of Alec Ingle. And then the next thing I went to go get, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Nat Moore and all these guys. And my phone's dead. So all I could do was shake Nat Moore's hand, Kimbo Camper, all these great guys. Joe Rose was right there. And I'm like, and Stephen Ross was right there. All of them. I mean, not that Stephen, but he's the guy though that makes it all possible. He pays all these people's paychecks and stuff. So it's just like, all these people, and my phone is like, couldn't do it. And I didn't want to be bugging like, Bobby and Ashley or the 305 Sports Babe every 2 seconds. Hey, can you take a picture and send it to me? Can you take it? I just said,
I would have. You can't remember Ashley, please.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Exactly. But it was
man,
cool.
I would have been all over.
Yeah, it was cool. Alec Ingle, really cool guy. So, it was nice. It was, it was a fun weekend, I have to say. Everyone talking football.
Well, you were meeting those awesome people. I was meeting the late, great Florida-born Mr. Michael Irving. That was awesome this weekend.
Oh, wow.
I got to meet him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
I got a picture with him. It was so cool. I'm not going to lie. And seeing these guys, I mean, like literally living legends. You know what I mean? Like just, it was great hanging out with him and meeting him. And the weekend before that, I met Raheem Mostert and I got to hang out with him as well.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So yeah, it's the life when you live in South Florida.
Yeah, I know. I grew up in South Florida. I'm in Houston now, but I lived in Hialeah, Miami Springs, and a lot of those players they live down there in and around that area because mainly Miami International Airport. And I saw Larry Little in the 7-Eleven. I played basketball with Jim Mandich, Marlon Briscoe, Stan Mitchell, who used to back in the 70s. I met Dan Marino, Bob Kuchenberg, a lot of the players, man. You know, a lot of the old time players. I was living there in the 70s and 80s, so I got to see a lot of them. But yeah, I know what you mean, man. It's like you go somewhere and go, "Hey, is that?" You know? Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool.
I
But
know,
anyway,
yeah, it's pretty awesome. I've even met Chad Ochocinco here too.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, he's.
I even know what he drives.
Well.
It's a very, very interesting car, and I'm not gonna say what it is because I don't want to put it out there. But the whole story of me meeting him is actually kind of hilarious. But but it was good, and I got to meet him, took pictures with him. So he's a pretty cool guy. I'll tell you that he is a pretty cool guy.
Well, that's cool.
One of my favorite Bengals of all time. So definitely.
Yeah. Okay. He played with us for a little while too. I think. Yeah.
Well, he was with us for a minute, but yeah, that's about
literally.
Yeah, just a minute. Exactly. Exactly. So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Is since we're talking about the defense, Cam Smith, is he going to play? Who is he going to play this year?
That's what's expected. I mean, look at what we don't have. You know, like
I know that's what I'm saying.
We literally we can't afford not to play this man. Like right now, we literally
he's going to be thrown. I
have nobody. So
he better be, and he has to be because unless you
he
draft
has to be.
him,
Yeah, I don't.
There's no person in the draft, just not a position on the draft other than quarterback. That would shock me, or receiver, even because I mean, but you know, there's really not a position that we couldn't draft. You can almost justify it all. I'm talking first round.
If you think, if you think about it, we only have Ramsey.
Yeah.
Keon Crossen, that's his backup, but that's a backup.
Don't forget.
We don't have anybody as corner. I'm just going corners.
I know. I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know who else you're gonna say, but he's more of a nickel corner, and that's Cater. I'm talking about like our outside corner. Our outside corner, we got Ramsey. We got Keon Crossen, who's the backup. Sam Smith is the only other guy on the other side that we have.
Don't forget, we had a guy that played in the. We had a guy played cornerback that was in the playoffs that got the call before Cam Smith.
Ethan Bonner.
Ethan Bonner. Hey, he's
well. Guess what? Ethan Bonner. He's one of our future contracts. Fine.
Yeah. But don't forget, Crossen may be cut because he can off his salary cap. But you know, he may just say, but you could cut him now.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I already cut him 2 weeks ago, so he's good and cut. I just preemptively did it for the Dolphins, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah,
but just some folks.
It's $2.99 million. 100% gone. Like he's cut. They might bring him back, but done. You know what I mean?
Might bring him back. So he saved like $1 million or something. You know.
But to my point is that as starters, we only have one starter, and that's Ramsey. We need somebody else on the other side.
Oh, no, for
that's
sure.
True.
And Cam Smith is literally the only player on the opposite side because we don't. Obviously, we don't have Howard anymore. And then I'm not sticking my nickel. We've seen when Cater's in coverage, it hurts him. So I'm not sticking him out there. We'll leave him. We'll leave him where he's at. He's our nickel corner. He's gonna be our nickel corner, our slot corner, and that's it. But to me, he has a hard time sometimes. He has a hard time sometimes going man to man, and he gets burnt all the time. So it's just he's a young player. You know, he's still developing.
He is, and he wasn't drafted. You know, he wasn't. He was an undrafted player. You know, but anyway. But I see a point that Cliff D brought up. He said Cam Smith has a terrible work ethic, attitude, and was poor in a draft pick. And that's true. I mean, at least that's what the reports were. I saw there were some reports that came out. I know Dallas Cowboys was looking at him. And then in his rookie profile, his work ethic was one of his deficiencies. One of the things that he had a problem with was his work ethic. So maybe Vic Fangio was on to something, right? But anyway,
who do we have here? Adam S. Flavor J. What's up? I see the guys. Obviously, Bobby. I see
Ray
Finkel. What's up?
Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate all you guys coming through for sure. Hit that like button, guys. Hit the like button, please. Hit that like button and subscribe to Phins Talk Sports Network. Okay?
Thank you. And there's a possibility we might have to put if Christian Wilkins walks, Brandon Peely, another undrafted guy.
He's in a futures contract already.
Yeah, he's in a futures contract. So we'll see how he develops over the summer as well.
Yeah, but just keep in mind, a lot of the players I hate to say it, a lot of those guys are replacement, as Cal Crabs were called. They're like replacement level players. You can probably go get a guy cheaper.
Their bodies, yeah.
Yeah,
they're just bodies. So,
that's true, the top ones are big. Wilkins will be missed and stuff.
Yep.
Like, there's ones that would be missed. Like Xavien Howard, let me know he wasn't up to his all pro status of a few years. He was still solid, and he's going to be missed. So, there are players that will be missed, but a lot of the ones that we've named tonight are just like replacement level that, hate to say it.
It's very simple. It's 2 words: starter, backup. That's the difference.
Yeah.
You're only going to have a handful of starters, and you should have several backups.
Right.
So
and
at the end of the day, we only have a couple backups.
But that's the problem. The depth. Yes, we're losing depth, but we're also losing some starters, like you mentioned, Christian Wilkins, possibly AVG, Raekwon Davis. Remember, he was a starter at one time. He's a rotation player. And then you got X, of course, Deshaun Elliott. Brandon Jones was a starter at one time. We don't know.
But he got injured and came back. He was actually pretty good. When he came back last year, he was playing really, I don't want to say super well. He was playing good on a consistent level. And that's what you want, especially with a guy that's just coming off a major injury like he was. You want somebody to have consistency in their play, and he was able to give us that towards the end of the season.
Yep, he was. Let me get your opinion since I wanted to ask you this too. What's your opinion of Anthony Weaver? What's your take on him?
Oh, Coach Weaver. Every time I say his name, I'm instantly thinking of Draft Day, Kevin Costner, because that's literally like his dad's name. And my mom is like obscenely obsessed with him. So
my wife is too.
Yeah, I love him too. I mean, The Bodyguard, like there's so many movies, but let me not, because if you're talking about movies, I got a list. But when it comes to Coach Weaver, I'm very excited. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw Jim Harbaugh even talking about it in the combine, how the Dolphins, acquired a really great talent with Weaver as our new DC. I think he's young. I think I don't think he is young. I think he does have some experience, which is good.
Yeah.
And one thing that I think that he fits the mold of what the Dolphins right now in this regime and what they're looking for. They're very, and I know I get pushed back with this. It's like, no, Miss Phins, that's not how it is in the NFL. I'm like, I get it. For the most part, this is football. This isn't. Let me see, individuals. Tennis. This isn't tennis, right. Which, don't get me wrong, tennis is extremely highly skilled. But my point is, you're hitting people. And with this game, they really want to be player focused, and I think that he fits the mold, in my opinion. I think he'll be a good coach for the players, but I think that he should be able to bring in a multi-defense from his own words, that's going to allow us to have that blend and to be able to match up week by week to our opponents.
I like that. I like that philosophy. And I hope he brings some of that Ravens culture to our defense.
I don't know if our team can handle that Ravens culture.
That's a different.
That's my point. Yeah. I was saying it without saying it, but now I'm saying it.
Yeah. So that's where I think I think on both sides of the ball we're lacking that dog. And I don't know. Look, they're football players, okay? So they're tough guys. They're out there hitting and banging heads. I get it. But there's just a certain breed of football player that is just violent.
Relentless is the
relentless.
Word.
That's a good word.
In
that's
my opinion,
relentless.
You don't stop. There's
you don't
high
stop.
motor.
You just keep
don't
pounding.
stop.
Yep. Yep.
That's an
Exactly.
AVG for me. AVG is a very quiet, high motor guy, in my opinion. And you know,
Exactly.
he's not gonna stop. He's gonna put his body out there. He will
Yep. Yep.
pursue when he needs to. He will continue until that whistle is done. And I love guys like that because you kind of feel that, you know, you feel the passion. Not to
Yeah.
say that other types of guys don't have the passion. Obviously, everybody's
Right.
different,
Right.
but we do need a little bit. I guess toughness is the easiest way to say it, or how they say dog in them. You know, we need guys that are bullies. We need bullies. Look, I said it.
We need bullies.
I
There you go.
am for. Can we get Richie Incognito here? Is he still available? Does he still got
Oh,
knees or no?
we need a bunch of
Does
those.
he
We need
still
a
got
bunch of
knees or no? Because
incognitos.
I know last time he had no knees. So
Oh yeah, that's what we need. That's exactly what we need. And let's
I need
talk.
a Richie.
There you go. And let's talk about the offensive line. And you had a great show today. I watched most of it.
Thank you, thank you.
About and you brought up the point of Taron Armstead. So go ahead, Miss Phins. What is your take on Taron Armstead? I know you mentioned that you maybe we could just let him go because of. I'll let you elaborate on that more.
Well, first of all, thank you for watching the show. I appreciate it. Today I was
Absolutely.
thinking, you know, taking a look at the team overall. I mean, we've done different scenarios on the show. You know, what are the players that we could cut? What are the players that we could resign? Players we could restructure? Players that we can extend? Players that we need to bring in or bring back? So, looking at all of that, you know, today I was thinking, what if we were to go ahead and cut um Teron Armstead? Because at the end of the day, we're paying for half a tackle. At the end of the day, I still have to pay someone else to take over in the games that he doesn't play. Last season, he only played 11 games. We went six
Right.
and five in those
Right.
11 games.
Yeah.
He doesn't practice because physically he can't. He is extremely limited to only game days, and he is just has a multitude of injuries. And personally, hey, what's up, Rafael?
Hey,
Personally, to
Raphael.
me, it's too much money dedicated on a half position. I need a player that's going to be there fully. I know Kendall Lamb is a great depth piece. We'd have to resign him. But at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day, again, it's a depth piece. I need somebody that can start and play all 17 games, you know? And for me, I know a lot of people aren't, not everybody is okay with just cutting because they don't understand the cap and the way that it works. But if we were to cut him, his dead cap by cutting him today will be $24 million. But if we designate him post June 1st,
Mm-hmm.
he would only cost us $11.4 million, but we still save 9.4 million in cap space this year, and we'd save 14.3 next year and 14.3 the year after that. We'd still have to pay him about 6 million each year coming up, but
Right.
and the 11 today at this year.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we can get off of him and actually take a look at some of these young players. Take a look at some of these draftees that are coming up in the draft. You know, because to me, we have to invest in this O line. Left tackle, it is extremely important. Now, I did mention that there are some veterans that we could still bring in that won't cost
Mm-hmm.
you $11 million.
That's
They
right.
might cost you $3, $4, $5 million. Okay, to offset that, where you can still have them. They might not even play the full season because you have a young stud that you want to go ahead and give experience to. But at the end of the day, I know that at least I'm going to have a player that I can develop, and I'm putting the onus on Butch Berry. And that's the only reason why I feel comfortable drafting a player, because Butch Berry, I feel like we'll be able to find a way, whether it's a veteran or a draftee, to be able to go ahead and make them efficient in this O line. And that's what we need,
Okay.
efficiency.
Yeah, absolutely. Two things. All right. Number one, I heard Mike McDaniel was talking about Taron Armstead, and he's not even sure if Taron Armstead is going to come back. So that's what the coach said. So
that's what Teron said.
We don't even know, right? So
the article I read from NFL Today was saying that. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but in the Pro Bowl, the week before the Super Bowl, they asked him, what is your future going to look like? He actually put that in paper and contemplated retirement. When a player is already at that point and contemplating retirement, that player is already retired. If he comes back, he's only coming back for the money. So if I'm only going to have you for the money, although I do believe you will perform, I need someone not for just this year. I need someone for the next 3 years that I can play with. And this is why, for me, I think he might be our surprise cut. And people might not expect it, but
you might be right.
That's
you
where
might be right. You might be right. I think his time has come. I don't think it's going to get any better for him. He's older. He's a year older, and yeah, his body's breaking down. He had 4 or 5 different injuries last year, and he's declined every year.
He's a great player. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah,
great player.
Yeah.
When he's on the field. And when he's on, my God, he's phenomenal. But the problem is, can he be there? Because unfortunately, he can't.
Absolutely. Right. And Rob, what's your take on that?
Oh, you remember me, the cheese.
Yes, I
did. He forgot about me tonight. I already sent him a text to let him know that's okay.
Oh, you did?
Just put the OSHA complaint like the Bills fans. Don't worry about it.
I know that. But anyway,
I'm sorry, man. Go ahead, Rob.
That's another problem.
You got the floor, brother.
I know. No, when Armstead is part of the problem, someone else, like that Bob Commonless guy pointed out, it's like he's so good when he's on the field that it's so hard to get rid of him, but yet the other half is he's not on the field enough. So there's always that disclaimer with him. When he's on the field, he's excellent. So you're paying a lot of money to him, and he's part of the problem of our whole structure of the contracts because we're so top heavy. We pay tons of money to Tyreek Hill, tons of money to Ramsey, tons of money, to Armstead, and that's why we're always top heavy. That's what they were going to try to, and Chubb. Yeah, tons of money to Chubb. And this is what they were going to avoid when they did this whole new rebuild. But somewhere along the way, they went back to being the old Dolphins, making the big offseason splashes.
Oh, we know when that happened. Do you know when that happened? Because we know when that happened.
Yeah,
that happened the minute we got Tyreek.
Yep, exactly. The minute we got Tyreek, we changed the whole game plan again, and it went
right out the window.
That plan went right out the window. You're right about that. Now the other thing I was going to bring up, Rob, were you finished? Because I know
that's it. Thank you, Steve. But yes, I'm done. We do this banter all the time. He gets going.
I was going to say about Butch Berry because you brought up Butch Berry, Miss Phins. I don't think it's so much Butch Berry developing the players because think about it. Who did he have to develop? Connor Williams? He was already developed. Did he have to develop Robert Hunt? No, he was already developed. Did he have to develop Austin Jackson? Okay, I'll give you that. Even though he only played like a serviceable backup, he really didn't make that big of a jump. Although he made some improvements from the year prior, or in the year prior before that, right? Did he have to develop Armstead? No, he didn't. Did he have to develop Kendall Lamb? Not really, because Kendall Lamb was already an 8-year veteran when he came here. He's in his 30s too. So I'm not going to give as much credit as a lot of these folks.
He made him play better as a cohesive unit, though.
No, I disagree. I'm sorry. Okay. I disagree.
What? No. Then I'm going to disagree about your disagreement.
Hold on. Let me finish. Then I'll let you both have the floor.
You go first.
The reason why I say that is I'm not saying he hasn't put his hands on. His fingerprints are on the offense, not so much the development part, but putting the Mike McDaniel's West Coast scheme together. That's what he's put together. That's what he's collaborated with these other coaches and Mike McDaniel and the players. He's done a good job at doing that, and that's why. And I'll let one point here, and that's why I say we don't need an all-pro offensive line across the line. We don't need that. We just need some good, solid players like a Robert Hunt across the line, and I think we'll be just fine because the scheme, and Mike McDaniel is not going to change this scheme. Trust me, he is not going to change it up this year, okay? Or as long as he's with this Miami team. So as long as he's with this Miami team, We don't have to go out and get the best offensive tackles, in free agency. Just some solid veteran players that can learn the scheme. Whoever wants the floor, go ahead.
I was going to say, but you kind of prove the point, though. You need a coach that can work with the head coach. In the past, we've always had.
I agree.
We've had like 11 offensive line coaches in a 10-year.
True.
Because Flores went through 2 in 1 year. So, one guy didn't even make it out of training.
Rob, it's the point I'm making is it's not so much the development, it's the scheme.
But you're saying you don't want to give him credit for being an okay coach.
If we get young folks, if we draft some young players in here, let's see if he can develop them into the scheme.
That's fine. I mean,
not someone that's been in the league for 8 or 9 years already, or 6 years, or 5 years. That's my point.
Okay, but the thing is, still, he's a good coach overall. He's helped our offensive linemen more than others have.
I'm not going to say he's not a good coach, but I'm not going to say he's the greatest in sliced bread. Like everybody, a lot of folks.
He's the first guy in a long time to be coming back for a second year at the position. So
fair enough.
I'm not saying he's great, the greatest thing since sliced bread, but it's been cohesive at least with him. And we were at one point, Austin Jackson's the only guy that played without being injured during the year. We were playing backups, all kinds of stuff in the unit overall. Are they great and elite? No. But did they embarrass us most games? No. They
didn't.
They did what they had to do. So
they did.
Because when you look, because Hunt for the first time in his
until
career,
they played good teams.
Yeah, but then you can say that for almost everything. The whole team against a good team.
Not really.
Yeah. So even the defense who dominated the Tennessee game. When they have a 14-point lead and they blow it, that's not good defense. So, so anyway,
yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Thirsty, you did not just go there. We're not, because I know.
I watch your show
on that game.
I watch your show on the Titans game all the time. I know your take, but to me, you shouldn't give up 14 points if you're a great top 10 defense.
Agree. At that point, that is true. I agree with you. I agree. But who had the ball last? Who had the ball last?
Oh, I know.
Just saying.
I know. No, I agree. It was all on the offense because Sealer got a touchdown that game, for goodness. If you're going to get a touchdown that one. So, I mean, that's
Thank you for telling the people what I've said, because if you really want to talk about it, it really, I mean, what more can they do? They scored, they stopped, they were gas playing over half the game.
That's the same when he was saying this only was on the offense and that the defense was elite like the Ravens, he said. Oh, I've been in more.
Well, you know what? I'm not gonna start with you, Thirsty, because then we're gonna go off for an hour there. Let me finish with Steve first, okay? Because I can't
roast me first.
I cannot deal with what you just said, sir. Okay, and I understand what happened. Yeah. You are stuck on the word development. So let me help you out. He is a phenomenal assembler. Butch Berry knows how to assemble this team, this O-line, to be the most effective O-line, period. And guess what? There is development because you have to develop the chemistry between each player. That's still part of a coach. You're not just going to randomly just throw people out there and just figure it out, guys. No, you got to develop that chemistry too. That's still part of development. I know it's not maybe perhaps the skill level that he might be developing, but he's still developing that chemistry by knowing when to position. We had the number one amount of combinations in the O-line the entire season, and Jets were number 2. So for him to be the chess master of that O-line, still be able to produce the way they did, to not get Tua injured, to literally keep this man upright, only allowing less than, did they even get to double-digit sacks? I think he only had, I don't even know.
29.
I'd have to look it up. 29. There you go. It didn't even get to 30 sacks. So at the end of the day, to me, Butch Berry, he gets my MVP as a coach in the coaching staff because he did what he was supposed to do. He developed the chemistry between starting and backup players. He was able to assemble that O-line multiple times. So for me, I'm going to give him that credit. And I feel very comfortable that he will be able to develop somebody young, which is why I say I'm okay with moving on with Teron Armstead. Give him the opportunity to get somebody young, because if he can do what he can with these players, he'll be able to go ahead and, in my opinion, be able to go ahead and
great points, Miss Phins, and I appreciate that. I still disagree with you, but that's okay.
I mean, hey, we can agree to disagree. We're respectful, you know. But at the end of the day,
absolutely, I mean, you make some good points.
He's still got to develop the chemistry. So,
are you a lawyer? You make a good case.
Hey, there you go. But anyway, very good points, Miss Phins. He's just
absolutely.
I just don't know what he wants from an offensive line coach. He wants not the Sandusky that got in trouble at Penn State, but our Sandusky that was the offensive line coach under Shula. That's who he wants back. Someone like that, I guess, who was around for years and great, but they don't grow on trees.
What's wrong with having high expectations?
I don't know. I agree. I think
I have very high expectations.
Yeah,
He's
me
been
too.
our best offensive line coach for the past few years.
I'm not taking no excuses like Armstead said, or was it Armstead that said it? No excuses this year.
No, that was me. I always say no excuses.
That was Tyreek.
Well, you too. But no excuses.
Said no excuses too.
Tyreek did too. No damn excuses this year, man. Super Bowl, one playoff game ain't gonna cut it for me. It's not. I expect a Super Bowl.
The fan base is stuck on, if we can just get that one win. We made it where? To be the Cowboys, to be the Cardinals, to get an opportunity to be in the playoffs, and then do what with it? I don't care about winning a playoff game. Does nothing for us except take that stupid monkey of us being.
Yeah, that's what you got to get that monkey off the back and win the next playoff game, though. You got to win that first one to win the second game in the same season. So
listen, I'm going to tell you something that I told my fans past off season, and I said it again after we lost, which hurts. It hurts me to say this, but to me, the best opportunity we had to win the Super Bowl was this year. Everything was lined up for any team.
Oh, no.
And literally none of the other 31 teams took advantage of that.
I agree.
And they had, I mean, it was just perfectly said. There are certain moves that the team can make, and we're going to talk about it all off season as far as putting us in the best position to make it happen. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, this was the window. And we're going to try to do it again this year, but I don't foresee past this upcoming season you're not going to get a better team than what you just had. Like, we just had one of the best rosters we've had in the last 30 years. You're not going to recreate that right now with all the money situation and everything that we have and injuries and all that. So it was a missed opportunity, in my opinion.
Absolutely. With that, we're gonna call it a show tonight. It's a little over an hour. I said we were gonna do it for about 45 minutes or an hour, Miss Phins.
This is good. I don't mind going back and forth.
I know you don't. You're good at it too. You make some great points, and that's why I had you on. I enjoy your takes, and you make great points, and you have a lot of football knowledge, and I appreciate that. And where can they find you, Miss Phins?
Oh, well, guys, first of all, before you even look for me, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to find two people for me. You're going to find Steve Malloy. You're going to find Dolphins Thirsty, both on X, Instagram, and all social media. And go follow them because they have great, great, great content all the time. Once you're done with that, follow Bobby Phins Talk. And then lastly, you're going to go to Phins Talk Sports Network, and you're going to follow them on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. I don't know where else, but everywhere else you can probably go find them.
Spotify.
There you go. Because they pump out content, and I mean, if curling had a national league, these guys would be talking about it. Okay,
yeah,
I'm telling you right now. I'm trying to get Bobby to go into mudding. You know, the racetrack and money. Maybe he might do it. I don't know, but
yeah, you never know. He'd be up for it.
Exactly. Everything you want. You have basketball, baseball, soccer, football. You've got I've seen wrestling. There's so many things
baseball,
that you have here.
Yeah. I do
State boys.
This one. You have to come join Phins Talk Sports Network. They're getting bigger, better, and just great people.
Well,
that's the best part. Great people that you're going to get over here.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Find me YouTube. There you go. 8 a.m.
Miss Phins, 8 a.m. almost every single day. And she's great Monday through Friday. always bringing her A game. I go in there when I can. Today, your show wasn't as long, I guess, because by the time I was dealing with the flat tire I mentioned. By the time I got it fixed, their show, I was like, oh, it's over. So I go, oh, well, I will go watch.
Yeah, I always tell people it's okay. Follow the replay. You know, there's always a replay that you can do, but you can have me Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. Come find Miss Phins. Help, grow to bigger and better things. I love having people over all the time, and it's a great show where we have fun all the time. The point is to have fun and enjoy our team, But I keep it fair and balanced. So, like I say, I'm objective, but I put my Homer hat, from time to time too, and I can go super.
So do I. We do the same here too. So,
yeah,
for sure.
You have to have your Homer hat sometime or root for the team.
Absolutely.
Exactly. I mean, look at this. Literally look at my wall, people. Like,
I know, exactly. Yeah,
I'm ready.
You gotta have it is what it is. They chose us. We always say we choose them, but it just called to me the Dolphins my whole life, and that's who I root for. So it just is what it is.
Well, I want to thank you again, Miss Phins, and Rob, as always, man. Thank you very much. I couldn't do this show without you. And the folks in chat, appreciate you joining us tonight, coming out here and listen to us talk Dolphins. And don't forget to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and share with your friends, your families, and your neighbors. Thanks again. And remember,
bye. Go Phins.
Bye.
Dolphins number one,
baby. Dolphins number one.
Hey, Miami sports fans. Stop by Canesware today at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. And check out their awesome merchandise selection of your favorite South Florida sports teams. From the Miami Dolphins, Hurricanes, Heat, Marlins, Florida Panthers, and Inter Miami, they've got it all. Celebrate your favorite team and show off your fandom with their beautiful team starter jackets, killer-looking helmets, team jerseys, cool shirts, and more. And if you're out of town or out of state, no worries. Go to canesware.com and find everything they have on their site. Select what